Hey, welcome again. We are Cardboard Odysseys. That's right. It's Saturday at 7 p.m., and we are live with another episode of Cardboard Conversations. Thank you, everybody, for joining this evening.
Morning.
What up, guys?
Yo.
Man, can you believe it? Black Friday, Turkey Day. We got a holiday season starting up already. Man, it's
Why does it not be on a Thursday, though?
I'm pretty sure it's always on a Thursday.
Yeah, I know.
Pretty sure it's always on a Thursday.
I know, it's annoying. My friends and I normally do. We normally do Commander. Because we normally do Commander on Thursday, and they're all doing family stuff. I am too.
Oh, so annoying. How about you guys do Commander on Wednesday?
Nah, maybe. We'll see.
I mean, you're super lucky to have a weekly play group anyways. You know, you're playing 50 extra games than I am every, year.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Well, that's awesome, though. I mean, hey, you'll just get the next one. Next time they come by, you'll get your turns in.
Magic is definitely about the gathering. I mean, that's become so clear to me over the past 5 years.
Well, something that's unfortunately becoming more and more clear to me in the last couple of years as a Magic player and Magic buyer is it's all about getting the sales. People, Bob, I got to be honest, it seems as though folks I've been talking with are more concerned about getting dollars off a box or, a couple of points cheaper than normal than what they're actually buying into. I've heard a lot of people say they want to get a bunch of Foundations booster boxes because they're going on sale this weekend. It's also going to be around for a long time. It's going to be cheaper than it will be this weekend. Have you guys been seeing any of this FOMO, any of these coupon cutters?
No
more than the normal Timmy mindset is the best way I could put it. I agree with you. Logic says this set's going to be in print for 5 years. What do you think the cost of these boxes is going to be in 2 years? I bet people start dumping it within 6 months to a year, trying to get their money out of it. Now, I'm not talking about Amazon. I'm not talking about, your LGS, your local LGS. It's going to be the flipper Timmies that said, "Oh, hey, Foundations, it was so hype," and then shit, now I'm stuck with it like Dominaria Remastered.
Or March of the Machines, which we're actually seeing at an incredibly steep discount now at your local Costco's. It was already a very cheap entry product. They had a pre-con with some extra packs, and now it's even slashed lower than that. So MTG Goldfish actually just did a small video and article on.
I saw the thumbnail. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I like Seb's
his
stuff
voice, man. I love the guy. I really do. Yeah. I don't know if I would hang with him, but I would read what he says because he's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
But good Lord, of all the people in the entire YouTube sphere, his voice just I can't.
It's interesting.
What's funny is it's not his normal voice. It's his content creator voice.
Okay.
There was a short of him that he was just like out in the wild talking to somebody, and I was like, why does his voice not sound so annoying? It's literally his content creator voice. I don't know.
It's the anti-Bob creator voice is what that is. It's like, nope, can't listen to it.
All base. Yeah.
If you listen to a lot of enough videos, like I was trying to listen to their, they do a decent bit of Commander stuff, and I was like, it's not as bad as you like kind of get used to it, but I agree, it is pretty rough.
So, yeah, I saw that, and it was 33% off. But I mean, the Costco bundles are fairly limited. It's a product that I can't say that anybody was in love with.
Seems as though some people are buying them.
Okay, and people will buy anything, except for apparently like Jumpstart. Even when they were giving it away, like, we'll pay you to take the Jumpstart boxes. Was it Dominaria United? I think I saw them down as low as under $20 a box.
Jeez Louise.
Like, that was a year or so ago. I'm like, good Lord.
I wonder how TCG or how Foundations is doing for Jumpstart. I forgot even that existed. I heard it's good, but we'll see.
No, I mean, look, we're still in the honeymoon phase. We
it's less than 30 days
next year this time, and we'll see how Foundations is still doing. And I don't want to talk about collector boxes. That's not a real part of Magic. I'm sorry, it's just not.
It wasn't a part of Magic for a very long time, but now it's definitely here, and it's never going away.
Okay, but it's mainly content creators cracking to say, "Look at my amazing hits." It's not the average Magic player buying a bunch of collector boxes, cracking them for the
No,
singles inside. Sorry, it's not.
no, I don't
It's
think.
the hopeful Timmies and content
Yeah.
creators.
I don't think any of the folks that I actually play games with, people that I turn cardboard with, are at all interested in collectors packs or the products. The variations and the fancy looks, absolutely, people definitely laud over those. But your average Magic player, at least the ones I'm exposed to, don't truly care about collectors packs. It's definitely a marketing ploy more than anything else.
Well, and they say collector, but that's a misnomer. The collectors I know have no interest in them.
Wow, the Jumpstart boxes are 122.
Oh wow.
And they've been going up.
Gotta say, that's
Okay,
definitely
again.
higher than I was expecting as a quote.
Yeah, I expected less than 100.
Yeah, and guess what? Jumpstart 2022 at one point was way higher than they are now too. They're what, under 100 a box now?
Yeah, but you keep comparing new stuff to old stuff, and that doesn't always work. If
What?
they change the print runs,
There's
and
a
make
whole
it,
lot of them. You got it, Ed.
No. I'm talking about Jumpstart 2022. That's
I
not really
understand.
old stuff.
No, that is old stuff. That was during
Okay.
that was during a time where they overprinted. Now they're course correcting. Now we'll see
yeah.
what happens. They've been course correcting. The numbers show it. Like the market is extremely stable. Nothing's.
I would
directly
say that the numbers
tanking.
show it. It's a misguided hope that they've reduced print numbers because they don't release their numbers. So there's no way you could say that definitively.
Well,
It
that
is a
was
market
actually-
reaction to
yeah.
the belief that they've reduced print numbers.
That
Well,
was
it's market
part of
reaction and TCG numbers as well. You can
Okay,
just
but that's
you can
market
just compare
reaction
sales.
because of the Rudy effect of, oh, hey, they've tightened up print runs, everybody. Go out and get your boxes now.
You
We'll see
really
how that
think
holds.
Rudy has that much of a
Yes.
pull on the market? I don't
Absolutely.
know. There's no fucking way. He's a small fry in the grand scheme
And
of
then
things.
his seed spreads. Yes.
I think Rudy's, as far as a distribution and as far as a reach, I think that Alpha Investment is larger than the state of Connecticut, Maine, New Hampshire. Like, it's larger than most of New England's influence or product like through rate. I think Rudy probably sells more than most of New England except for New York State. Like, just
So,
absolute.
We'll see.
quantity.
They don't release the numbers. So until they do,
Right,
we
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. Period.
Well,
We believe it, and
the
people.
numbers. That's something I wanted to touch on, and was kind of the genesis of my for the episode this evening, was with everything going on legally that Hasbro's got and some of the things behind it right there. I wonder if Wizards Hasbro at large is going to try and liquidate a lot of product before year end, and this would be
I
a
don't think
great
so.
opportunity. No,
especially not with the lawsuit.
well, that would be.
I think that would
the
just throw
reason to
fuel
do
on the
so.
fire. So for those of you that haven't heard this week, Hasbro's gotten itself into a little bit of hot water. I believe it's the West Palm Firefighters Association. We have a
I
link
was
to it somewhere.
surprised at that name.
Polygon
the West Palm
reported it.
Beach firefighters.
Good fucking luck.
They hired a lawyer to sue Hasbro, not specifically WotC or Magic the Gathering, but WotC altogether. And we know, Hasbro altogether. As we know, mainly it's Magic the Gathering that they plussed up on. And we saw landfills full of cards. We know that the boxes got printed to oblivion. So, yes, I do agree, Matt, that probably that era with the cost of the boxes never arbitrating down, that there are probably fewer boxes now. But they also want to spread that
What up, Mac?
idea without ever saying it. There's no article. There's no blog. There's nothing that says they've reduced print numbers anywhere.
No. It's just,
So-
again, a company's word. And it's a company that sells things. And it's not a buy it one time type of item. They want to
No.
make a lot and for you to buy even more.
Well, yeah, they're not your friend. As much as they talk about community, they're a business at the end of the day. And they need to make money.
And it's a business that got itself in hot water for lying to its investors.
Mm.
I
And that's
don't.
what they're being sued over.
I don't foresee that going anywhere. I didn't read anything about it, but it sounds
Okay.
stupid.
I read a bit of it,
Okay.
and I think they'll have a hard time actually getting any real traction. I think Discovery is going to be the most difficult part of that case, just because Wizards of the Coast, Hasbro at large, is going to be very unlikely and completely reticent to release any of their print run numbers, which I think is
They may be
going to
forced
be.
to.
Well, that's the thing is like
Now they
whatever
don't.
comes to
They
light
can
during that suit is going to be
they
very
can put a
interesting
gag
for
order on it,
us.
so they can put a gag order on it, so it doesn't become public knowledge. But they
Yeah.
can absolutely that attorney can absolutely request all of that data.
Hmm. And best of luck to them. I I honestly want to see our firefighters taken care of for sure. I mean, come
It'll
on,
be a
let's be
couple of
honest
years.
here.
People
Yeah,
forget all
I
about it.
yeah.
Just when you go into filing, if you're not aware of like court cases, especially against companies, these
Mm,
things get drug out for years. And I guarantee you, Hasbro is going to be trying to drag it out as long as possible. They may even try to squelch it as fast as they can and do some sort of payoff just to make it go away, because it will be bad press for the exact wrong people. You don't want to have investors suing the company for malfeasance is basically what it is,
mm.
and lying to the investor base. And that is that there. You know what it speaks to me is the community for years, even before I started railing against them at the fireside chat, has been complaining about WotC's lying, Mark Bottomwater, all these other slogans thrown around with all this bad press and all this lying from WotC, and it's been very bad management practices towards the player base, including the whatever it was for D&D with the rule set that they changed. What was that called? Something like the rule set that they got the D&D players up in arms about, the open license, open
The open
whatever.
gaming license, yeah.
So it's basically just reticent of built-in corporate. I don't want to say mantra. It's not really a mantra for them to be shifty, shady, lying.
No, it's their
But
MO.
it's-
It's their modus operandi. These are
Absolutely.
guys that make something they want you to buy. And if they gotta lie through the gaps in their teeth, they're gonna do so.
It certainly appears that way. They certainly don't seem to have any corporate integrity. It seems that integrity is not something that is critically important to Hasbro. And they're
Speaking the
being
integrity
called.
of something
It's
being
not just the
important.
players now calling them to the carpet. Now it's the investors also calling them to the carpet. At what point will people just finally admit and stop covering for WotC because they love a game and say, this is a bunch of schmucks running this company?
Yeah. I think that the constant changing of the guard, as it were, has definitely not done them well. And they've got more a public sight on them than ever before. The pandemic, as good as it was for the coffers, was definitely not great for their PR team. It's a great thing that Post Malone bought a Magic card for $2 million. It also brought a whole new type of crowd, a whole different set of eyes and ways of looking at this game than ever before. And I think that they're still having a very hard time working that out.
I don't know what their problem is, to be quite honest. I know that transparency and integrity do not seem to be in their vocabulary. And I think that is coming back to roost. You reap what you sow. I mean, you have this sentiment in all types of theologies and ideologies. Science, for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, yin and yang. You reap what you sow. Every philosophy has something for it, that you live by the sword, you die by the sword, and it's karma, man. It comes back to bite you eventually. You can get away with it for a time, but eventually it comes back to haunt you. Sins of the past. And it's from 2022, I believe, that the lawsuit stems.
Oh,
We're
so it's
almost
not
to
exactly
2025.
a recent thing. It's just kind of coming to light now. Maybe it's just progressed.
No, it's a
little
recent
bit.
filing, but it's specifically citing their activities from 2022 and 2023.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you, it means that these people have probably been loading up the gun for quite a while, and they've probably got some steam behind what they're saying. It's not a knee-jerk reaction.
Interesting. So
And
we've got
Florida
a
is a
commenter saying
sue
that
happy state.
they believe the company went woke and that it's been far too busy trying to keep new players occupied with other universes, and that these new decks have kind of ruined the game. I mean,
I don't feel that way at all.
I don't.
I think it's cool. How cool would it be to get a World of Warcraft collaboration? Like World of Warcraft is something that I played as a child. Diablo, a Diablo set, a World of Warcraft set. Like just because it's not Magic the Gathering based doesn't mean that it can't be cool. It doesn't mean that it can't add to the game. Especially with the whole multiverse theory, where like technically anything because the multiverse has different versions of every different kind of world, and there's many different worlds. Any world technically could fit in in this grand scheme of things. Warhammer 40K is a great addition to the game. There's a lot of IPs. I mean, Marvel's a little interesting. There's a couple new cards that are great. Now you start getting into things like My Little Pony. I can see that being a little
SpongeBob.
abrasive. SpongeBob's a little abrasive. So like I can understand it would be, especially if you're one of those people that really get into the
I think again, it's one of these things where it's a good addition overall to the game, but they
Universe
should
Beyond.
have avenues that preserve the purists.
Well,
There
and
should be
I think-
formats that are only OG universes that you can play, and then you give the people that don't want SpongeBob fighting My Little Pony with their Spider-Man web-slinging Warhammer 40K Necropolis
and my
tank
secret
from
Gandalf
Doctor
second
Who's with
commander.
a screwdriver.
Yeah.
I get it, and eventually it becomes unrecognizable as an IP, but I think it does bring new eyes to it, and I think there should be, again, I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think it is I think this is their mantra, to just do everything as poorly as possible with implementation. Like it's the way that they did it that's so bad.
And at the very beginning of the comment there, the company went woke. I definitely have seen that more and more as we go through releases, that some of the grit and grime of Magic the Gathering has kind of worn off. It seems as though there's a fresher veneer that is a bit more publicly acceptable. And that's one of the reasons why I think the artwork from Flesh and Blood still draws me into it. I love the gameplay of Magic, can't disregard that, but there is something more visceral about the blood, guts, gore, grime aspect of it that, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to see Patrick Star with a giant facial scar. It's just not going to be the type of like universes crossover. And Warhammer, I was hoping was going to lean a little bit more into that, and unfortunately they continue to shy away. And I think as we're going forward for the rest of this year, we are not going to see that. It's going to be more of the Marvel vacation, where it's that PG-13 instead of sometimes pushing a R.
I will say what WotC loves to do, like we've talked about many times on this channel before, when they find something that works, they take that hammer and they just keep smashing the print button of like we talked about. I think it was 2 weeks ago. Next year, 50%, or maybe even I think it's more than 50% of the products releasing next year are Universes Beyond. Like they're out of universe sets. 50%. That's definitely higher than this past year or the year before or any other year.
Which
they
has been
see that
highest.
It's successful, and they're like, okay, well, let's just keep doing that because it works. And
we
I kind
came
of
up with the term with this for this years ago. They Wattsified it.
Yeah. They have a problem with like dialing back, and like they see when something works, and then they like rail into it as hard as they can until it stops working, and then they just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, they see that something sells well, that it's flying off of shelves, that people are really looking for it, and then they fuck with it. And I think that that's one of the issues that we've had with Wizards. Like you were saying, they find this beautiful thing, and then they take a hammer and smash it until it's no longer a beautiful thing. Standard for a long time was wonderful, and then they just kept messing with it. Then it wasn't so good. Their product line, draft boxes, those were fine for a long time until they wanted to make it more collectible, and bang, 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 clank, 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 and you've got collector boxes. And that went well for a while. So then they kept smashing it with a hammer, and then you got your set boxes. And then it didn't work for a while, just like usual. So they had to merge them back together in a play. It's going to be a thing we see over and over. And I don't know. I'm kind of here for the ride.
I think
they hit a
collector boxes are doing really
corporatocracy.
well this year. We'll see though.
They hit a corporatocracy at some point where instead of letting the game push the design and print numbers, they let the corporate growth push the design and the print numbers. And that started with, you could call it Project Booster Fun. The product was doing just fine prior to Booster Fun, right? It was doing fine in 2018, 2019. It's not like the game was dying. It had slow, steady growth. And then they decided, well, I don't know whether there was a change of the guard. Isn't that about the time that Chris Cox took control? Around that time, 2018, 2019. And decided, well, we're going to set, and like you said, they hit that dopamine button, for, oh, this works. Let's do it until it doesn't. Instead of blending it in and allowing it to grow naturally, like you said, they're hitting it as fast as they can, taking as much money out of it as they can until it doesn't work anymore. And then on to the next gimmick. And, they did it with, they did it. You can say it goes back a long, long way with foils. And then they said, oh, let's make all foil boxes. They did it with borderless cards. And now you get almost everything's borderless. Like, it's not special for sure. And they did it with serialized. And I've seen that sort of slow down. Because I think people just are like, yeah, serialized, not really all that special, and you're just putting serialized in everything.
And we've got Mr. DJ Longhair in the house. He's saying play boosters are sort of a ripoff, and that he's glad it's up to 36 packs, but there isn't much of a come up. Interesting.
There were 36
Aaron.
packs in draft.
Let us know your opinion. We've got a poll up right now if you're live with us. Do you think play boosters are good? Pretty flat question, pretty flat answers, yes or no. Let us know your opinion in the comments below.
I think play boosters are better than draft in every way.
Oh, hot
almost every way. Price is definitely more expensive, so that's one downside. But
small course correction.
But my play experience with draft and my play experience with play boosters, I enjoy play boosters much more. But I am a power gamer. I like power. I don't want to play with a vanilla 3-mana 2/2, 3-mana 3/3. Like, that's boring. It's so boring. Like, I want my deck. I want to feel like I'm breaking the game every time I play. If I don't feel like I'm doing something busted, I don't want to play. I want to always do. I want to be always riding that line of like, I'm not infinite, but man, I'm doing some crazy shit. You got to stop me. If you don't stop me, then I guess I win. It sucks to be you. Like, that's the level that I want to be at. And draft boosters just don't let you do that. You're stuck playing garbage cards. Like, I don't know. I
gotta
say,
I
worked for almost 30 years.
I've got to side with Matt on the experience of even DJ. He's saying it right there. That is standard, and that's one of the reasons I disliked going to pre-release / early drafting events. Is how often it was just underpowered, where it's like, I'm going to swing with my 3/2. Yeah, it's got some stuff on it, but I can't do it because it's a freaking standard deck. And
my most recent pre-release deck was really good, actually. I felt fairly strong.
And you said it was for Foundation's play boosters you were using for that, correct?
Yeah, Andy was Boros, which is like typically one of the least powerful combinations.
Hey, whoa, you say that, but Bob hosted a killer event over at your place. He was so gracious to provide us with all sorts of stuff, and I made a pretty decent Boros deck. I don't want to say I won, but I was the second to last loser. We all lost at the same time.
Yeah.
And thank you again, Bob. That was a phenomenal evening, and low-key, really good chili.
Is Bob muted?
I don't know.
No, I'm here.
No.
He gave you a compliment. He just kind of like stared off into the void.
I give a thumbs up.
I didn't see nothing.
So for Black Friday, I don't think that there's anything particularly Magic related that I'm trying to get into. As per usual, like we've discussed many times on the channel here, buy what you want to have. So the things I've already been interested in, I've already been partaking in. But I do need to finally get a new TV. This thing's lasted, well, way past its years.
Didn't you have to like slap it because like something was wrong with it?
Yeah.
Work? Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, man, hey, if it works, it works.
Yeah, I didn't have audio for like a day and a half, so I got some like cheapo PC speakers, little rattling cans kind of thing. But yeah, I think I'm gonna kind of rank up a bit.
Oh,
The
just
way
as
I
like a
look
public
at
service
Play
announcement as
Boosters,
well.
the way I look at Play Boosters is they just wanted to make an excuse to try to charge you $150 for a draft box. I mean, you can say that it's awesome to have an overpowered deck, and that's wonderful that you go in and go 6-0. But for the people that just want to play and not play against CEDH level standard players in every single draft and just have fun with the gathering part of it rather than worrying about winning so much, you're going to make this a Yu-Gi-Oh game where everybody just draws their hand and whoever had the best, you don't even play because you get to go first, right? All right, you win. Cool. Roll again. Draw your cards. Turn one win. Like, is that what the way you want to see Magic go? Is power creep to the point where it's Yu-Gi-Oh?
No,
I don't.
It's
I think it's
certainly
fine
not
right
in
now.
like a draft event. There would be just too much juice in it at that point.
Yeah,
But
draft events right now, they
It's-
last like 7 to 10
It's heading
turns on
that way,
average.
though. Like what you're saying is, I want more dopamine, more dopamine. The 2-2 wasn't good enough.
No,
Give
no,
me bigger,
no.
badder,
I'm saying
faster,
I'm happy
badder,
with
faster,
it.
badder,
I'm
faster.
happy now. I don't
Okay,
want
and
more.
it's going to get more because they can't push the next set unless it is more. That's the direction that you're talking about. It's experienced in every video game. It's experienced in every card game.
Well, yeah, there's power.
It's
creep.
almost experienced in
Flip a
every
coin.
board game
Yeah.
that has any kind of legacy. Yeah, flip a coin. Who won? All right, on to the next game.
Yeah.
That's literally where we're heading.
We could have
CEDH
so
has gotten
many
that way.
Commander
That's
games.
why they had to ban freaking Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt, which has been around for 20 years, because we're just getting into the point where it's too many turn one wins, watching the other player on the other side jerk off with their cards while you sit there going, okay, cool, on in the next game. Oh, you win. Great. Oh, look, I got my nuts hand, and I win on turn 2. Cool, next game. That's fucking boring.
But that's the RNG of any TCG.
No, it's
Ha-
called
having
power
the
creep.
nuts-
Everybody's
having the
talking
nuts is
about
pretty
power creep,
standard.
and it's true. And that's what's happening. And you're not only just power creeping the cards, you're power creeping the packs. We're going to get to the point where it's all just, rares and super rares and ultra rares, and that's all that's in a pack. And that's where we're headed ultimately, unless they can learn how to scale back their game. And it got them 30 years to where we are, but you're going to power creep the game out of being fun. Because if this year's standard isn't as busted as last year's standard, you don't want to play it. And the way I'll put it is like, look at how much you enjoyed Path of Exile when they had the most busted league, right? And then the next ones just seem like a wet fart compared to the busted ones.
I love this comment. And again, honestly, I really enjoy the community that we have here. So thank you, everybody, for joining us this evening. Twiddler's Place MTG says, I could understand the bans a little bit more if they actually introduced tons of new cards rather than just reprinting everything to death. And by the way, Twiddler, don't forget, Innistrad Remastered comes out in just like 2 months.
The thing is, Twiddlers are doing both at the same time. Right? They're power creeping and reprinting to death. And guess what happens when you make a dual land that's better than the OG dual land? Guess what's going to happen to those OG dual land prices? Just like everything else, we see
the very high. Yeah.
the OG cards end up losing their value because they've been power crept out of existence. Looking at
that
you,
they'll
Shivan
definitely
Dragon.
still hold like a collector's place. Some cards, that specific example, but things like much lower tier, anything, $100 when they reprint that or make a functionally better version of it. It's just, when they make the Ozolith 2 and it's just better, the first one's going to be nothing. Couple of bucks.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's where the game is headed, just to push the next pack. It's like a drug addict. They don't care about what's in the rearview mirror. Where's my next high? And if they play to those audiences, where the game will be, it's already gotten to the point where I almost don't enjoy playing at this point because I just sit there and watch other players play for most of the games.
I still. From time to time, I'll just load up a Commander Raids play sheet and just like kind of hang out by myself, Sunday morning, drinking some coffee, just me and Kaikar watching some cartoons or whatever. But it's definitely very different than even thinking about going to my local gaming store, I'd more likely play something on Spell Table. And being smart about what you're engaging with and seeing if it's of value. I think DJ, you got a good point here. Retail is dumb for it. $300 to $400 for collectors. That's just ridiculous.
I think he's saying
Definitely.
$300 for play boosters and $400 for collectors. There's no play boosters that are $300. They're 120 to 150, sometimes even a little
For
lower.
I think he might be talking about the Innistrad, and that's just prices right now, DJ. I wouldn't be looking at prices until after it releases.
Well, any remastered set is typically higher pricing, but yeah, I wouldn't. It's a little early to know what the pricings are actually going to be.
But I mean,
Yeah,
it shows
just
the
don't
trend.
see it
It's just
being
they
worth
keep
it
trying
for
to
me.
make us numb. If we would have seen those prices 4 years ago,
I can tell you there's 4 different reprints of Edgar Markov coming up, which is kind of crazy.
Geez. Oh
There's
my
an Edgar Markov full art, like kind of like a poster. Then there's like the normal version being reprinted. Then there's an old school
what's
like
his
retro
price right
version.
now? What's his going price on TCG Player? We need to put up some like visuals here. We're just three heads talking.
70 around $70.
All right, we should put a bet. Let's put it in chat here. Let's put up a poll. Can you get like 4?
67% of people say no, play boosters are not good. 2-1. Hit me, Bob.
So let's get a poll going for what we think the price of Edgar Markov's going to be in 6 months. So we'll look at this like after Easter, right? Just to give it a couple of months to really saturate the market. Edgar Markov sitting at $70 now, and then do like 50, 30, 15. I'm going to bet he drops down to. I'm going to bet that the OG drops down to like, or the simplest version, the cheapest version will be $15.
You also have to remember that he's one of the most popular commanders in basically history. So keep that in
Base
mind.
edition. Should I add that in? What will base edition Markov be
The
in 6
cheapest
months?
version.
Yeah. Right now he's ranked top. He's rank 8 on for the past 2 years. He's in the top 10. He's rank 8.
Yeah, and so was
commanders.
fucking Urza until they reprinted the balls off of him.
No, Urza's not even in the top.
He was.
He's ranked 47.
He was way up there, and then they reprinted him to the dirt, and people just want to play with expensive commanders.
I don't know if that's true. I don't think the dollar has never. I mean, I'm just one guy, but the dollar has never made me go, I ought to make that commander because he's $100.
Oh, I bet you there's a whole lot of people out there that do.
Yo, there are a lot of people that do. I know some fucking Timmies. Yeah. 33 minutes in, and we got our first F-bomb. I know a bunch of fucking Timmies that love that stuff. And Richie, hey man, it's been way too long. Hope you're doing well. Also, I've seen you play some Enshrouded from time to time. We got to get together and kill some beasties. Now we got.
I'm fairly deep into Enshrouded. I'm into. I don't know. I don't even know how to tell progression in the game. The game's fairly odd, but I've done the 3rd dungeon. I have the key to the 3rd dungeon.
I don't think I've done a single dungeon. How many?
The dungeons are pretty cool.
Do you have?
7 or 8, but I haven't been like specifically going out and recruiting them. I've been exploring the world, killing all the elixir wells. Kind of cleansing the blight. I've been trying to find like the tools for each of the guys. Like you get the smithing tools for your guy.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, Richie. Yeah, Tom's playing it right now. We're gonna hopefully get Bob in on it sometime. We're gonna sucker.
I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff coming up like really soon here.
Dude, Bob, you had mentioned it like a week or 2 ago. I've been checking out some Avowed videos. It looks like that might be a good game.
Which one?
Avowed.
Oh, Avowed?
Yeah.
But it's so expensive. I think it was like $99 or something. I'm like,
no
damn.
shit. Huh?
Well, yeah, but you're looking at the collector's edition. The normal one's not that expensive.
You're still on my radar there, Richie Dubs. I haven't given up on you. I downloaded it. I'm so not into Hearthstone, but you'll catch me on a day. I'm playing Diablo 2. I'm just waiting for the ladder reset. But that's going to come along at the same time as Path of Exile 2. So Matt, you had linked this a little bit earlier. I'm gonna start linking some stuff because we're just like we're not linking stuff, and I know that it
We're
needs some
not linking.
visual change and
We got
stuff
a
to
link. We got a link. But
Well,
yeah, no,
pass
for
them to a
sure.
visual change.
here.
Yeah,
That one. There we
that
go.
intro. Oh man.
So there's some news for our. Oh, good God, I hate this so much. Like having to resize is
We're
such a
working
pain
on
in
it,
the
folks.
dingy dong that it's like I don't. Why is it not letting me grab the side of the screen? There we go. Oh,
Ooh,
it's
yeah,
getting bigger.
yeah,
That's what she
yeah,
said.
you're
Giggity.
doing it.
Ooh,
Oh.
he's in enhance.
That was the perfect spot. Yeah.
So Matt posted this a little earlier today, and I've been waiting for this. I guess it came out yesterday. But
Diablo
they're
11.
going to reset the ladders.
I read it
I
as
missed
Diablo
that.
11. I'm sorry, Bob.
He said Diablo 11 resurrected.
You're not far off. But I've been waiting for this ladder reset just to play it some more. Season 9 coming up. Probably just a vanilla, no change.
Yeah, they said
Ladder
nothing's changing. They're fixing one bug. It's so fucking boring. What a waste of a good thing.
It's such a great game. I honestly would like to see them develop more to it because I have so less than no interest in Diablo 4. Diablo 3's okay. I bought Diablo 4. I don't even have the desire to load it up to play with it ever.
It's not
There's
bad.
no nostalgia. Huh?
It's not bad. It's just not great.
It might not be, but it's just I don't care. I'd rather play Diablo 2.
I can tell you it's like Diablo 3, but like kind of cranked to 11. Like they've been getting more and more Diablo 3 since people have been giving them feedback, and they've just been listening to it, I think. Like it's like spamming more and more loot. Some of these chests that you open, it takes more than 30 seconds for the loot to spill out. It's crazy. The loot's just like
it's like PoE.
It's worse. It's actually worse somehow. PoE 2 is crazy how like low loot you get.
Dude, PoE, the problem with me is it's just like if you are not into the screen constantly exploding with all kinds of stuff perpetually, then you're like me, and it's like it's too much. PoE is just too much visual stimulation. I can't really tell what's going on. And even with Diablo 3, it's very much that same way. I can't hardly ever tell when I'm standing and stupid, or is that my thing or a teammate's thing. It's just a little rough. So I kind of like the little slower paced Diablo 2, but it is going to compete, like you said, with the same time as PoE 2,
yeah, they
which I'm on the fence about.
December 6th as the release date for their new league because of PoE 2 is coming out on December 6th for early access. So what they're doing basically, the TLDR, they were going to release all 6 acts of the campaign, but about 3 months ago for early access, and then they wanted endgame as well, but they haven't really like decided how they're going to handle the endgame. Like about 3.5 months ago. So then they did a big pivot. They're like, okay, instead of finishing the last 3 acts of the campaign, we'll release the first 3 acts, and then they'll make a cruel version of the first 3 acts. You're going to play the first 3 acts twice. Then you'll get the end game. And then they're releasing the end game with this early access. And holy, it is crazy. It is like Last Epoch's monolith system plus a bunch of PoE things like Delve, if you've ever played Delve, and it's just very very beautiful looking. There's actually like a cinematic if you watch the trailer cinematic for PoE 2.
Yeah,
it's the first time they've ever done that like quality of a cinematic.
ooh,
And
that was impressive.
The voice actor of the chick, the sorcerer, the fire sorcerer, is crazy. Like when she screamed, I'm like, I feel it. Like I felt that.
Yeah.
It was crazy, like powerful.
Yeah, that was for sure.
Screams like
that's
Sherry
how I want a
Vegas.
video game to open. Yeah.
I don't want to know about that.
Love you too,
I
Sherry.
love like the tentacles they had spilling out of the cart, just like turning in, defiling the land.
It's also a callback to what they call the Beast, which I guess was a seed of corruption. Well, I don't really know much about the story because they've never been really great at telling a story, and I think that's what they're trying to do with PoE 2. They're trying to tell a good story. So I guess the Beast was like this, like it was called the seed of corruption, and it basically just feeds and grows and spreads off of like human corpses, I guess. and the gods of the world have been like keeping it like suppressed, and they've kept it sealed. And I don't know why. I think the one guy, I think his name is the Count. He's like trying to like harness the power of the beast in order to like become more powerful in the world, I guess. And he's like trying to suppress the gods with like, I don't know. In the one scene, they show more lore than I know about any of the other games.
Well, what I suggest is you're doing the early access, and I'm still debating on it. But maybe you can cover some of that in some live streams, or I know that we don't traditionally do very well with our live streams. I don't know how much you'll get.
Vertical
audience
would probably do
participation.
fine, but yeah, horizontal's never been amazing. I
So-
can probably try to do something with that. I typically play with friends, so I tend not to like stream while I'm playing with friends because we talk about random shit while we're playing. But my buddy's on the fence.
I think there's people out there
I
that want
guess.
to hear.
There's an old school RuneScape, some kind of like special league coming out for old school RuneScape right around the time that they're releasing PoE2's early access. So my buddy's like on the fence of what he wants to do. So he's like, I'll see how I feel about the league versus playing. I hope he plays, but we'll see.
At the same time that they come out, and if you're not aware, in Diablo 2, they do a Christmas special every year that they do like 25 days or 22 days of special events, and there's a different special event generally like each day of the week, and it rotates through, I can't remember, like 7 to 10 different special events that do things like, doubles your life, or doubles your resistances, or cuts your resistances in half, or it doubles your XP so you could make alts, or doubles the loot. It does all these kind of neat things for a full day. And it rotates through the whole time. So it's kind of one of the best times to play Diablo 2 is during the Christmas season, because they have really cool and unique events that they don't repeat throughout the year. So I really enjoy playing Diablo 2 at Christmas season.
I've been enjoying
Resurrected,
the mods.
that is.
The mods for Diablo 2 are crazy good.
Yeah,
They've
but
had
it's
so
not the
long.
same game.
I think that's part of it. It's.
I think you'd enjoy Reimagined. If you've never played Reimagined, it's pretty damn good.
All right.
It keeps the majority of the base game the same. It kind of jacks up it doesn't kind of. It jacks up the loot return. So like you're not like spending the entire day looking for a Sur rune. You'll get it.
You're not doing Pindle runs all fucking night.
You'll get it within the first day or two probably. You'll get your first high rune. So I mean by the end of it, and plus you can also cube up runes without having the gems and all that bullshit. It's just 2 runes up, easy.
But then you get to the point real quick where there's nothing that can drop that you care about, and then you stop.
But no, they've added over 1,000 new uniques. They've added more rune words. They've added chase. That's the thing. Like I played for, I would say probably 8 to 12 hours every single day for like 2 weeks before I got bored.
2 weeks.
Yeah, that's really good. Over 100 hours of gameplay. That's pretty fucking good. Like, I don't know. That's about how long I play PoE leagues. I play them for about 2 weeks, maybe 3 to 4, depending on how good the league is. That's good to me. Like, if you can enthrall me. The other mod that I played, it was remodded, I think it was called.
I played that before.
That was trash. They kept immunities in. They made it super difficult. They juiced up the monster. They gave every monster many more projectiles. So everything's shotguns. Everything, all them. It's like they made it intentionally harder for no fucking reason. It makes sense for they had some extra 100 floors of hell or whatever. You could just go down each floor and they're new. They're kind of like maps sort of. That makes sense to be difficult, but Act 1, the monsters are just super juiced from the get go, and I'm like, why? What? There's still immunities in the game, which I think is one of the laziest mechanics in the game. Well, the first boss you fight in that floor thing that I was talking about, it has immunity to everything. You just have to have immunity stripping to get rid of it. It's so stupid. I stopped playing that within the first day. I'm like, yeah, this game's shit. At least in Reimagined, they removed immunities, but they set the resistances of mobs that were immune to 99. Yeah, look at that. It's beautiful, serialized.
Bruh, I am not happy with this. This is really cool looking as far as a piece of artwork. As this does not look like a Magic the Gathering card.
I mean, it looks no different than most movie posters that we see.
Well, like that's what I mean. This looks like an advertisement for a 1920s thriller noir era movie called Edgar Noir, and it's about haste, eminence, and first strike. Like this is a very pretty looking piece of work that is unlike any Magic card I've seen or want to play with.
Well, maybe you can go to your local LGS and put in your pre-order to try to get one of these there, Pat, while you're getting a exclusive pin from a WPN during the Black Friday sales.
I like that logo. That's cool.
Matt, let us know that there is an exclusive pin coming to your WPN stores during the Black Friday. Matt, do you know more about that?
Just what I posted. Apparently, if you have an LGS near you, that's a WPN store. They're supposed to have collector pins that they can give away for purchases during Black Friday. I don't know what kind of if there's like a limit of like how much you have to spend to get it or whatever. They didn't really say that. I think it's probably up to the
store,
up to the LGS.
But it's one of those Pinfinity pins, right?
Yeah, it's the A. I don't know why they call them AR enhanced.
Altered reality.
But it's not altered. It's just a physical product.
No, but you scan it and it has like a thing that it does.
Yeah, if you have like a fucking headset on, you can scan it, and then like a little vampire's head will pop out of the little button.
Oh.
That's what we're all going to do in the future, Matt. We're all going to wear our headsets and go to the grocery store, and instead of reading the tags, we're going to see, a floating image of ground beef.
I mean, if you ever think back to like the Yu-Gi-Oh days, where like they have those like things like you put the cards on and then it summons the shit in real life. I would love to play Magic
did that,
like that
for the Quest 3. There's like a whole version of Yu-Gi-Oh!
I saw that.
Now.
He's like, I play my pot of greed, which lets me draw 3 cards, and he kept doing that. He kept playing the pot of greed to draw 3 cards. He's like, you can't just keep doing that. He's like, but it's letting me do it. And he was like, I summoned Dark Magician Girl. I summoned the dragon. He's like, you can't just keep summoning dragons because it doesn't follow the rules at all.
But to Bob's point, that's exactly one of the problems with Yu-Gi-Oh! Is they made shit like that, and it became the standard. Like they made Soul Ring, and everybody plays Soul Ring. They made Pot of Greed, and everybody plays it. That's an aside. At least this version of Edgar Markov looks like a Magic card. Like the filigree
I can outlining.
Read it. Right, I can read it.
Like if you go back to the other one, it's that whole thing where it's like, wait, it doesn't look like a Magic card. Okay, that definitely didn't look like a Magic card. But I agree with you that it looks like a great piece of art. If that's all you care about, but tell me if that's sitting across from you upside down on the table, you're easily going to be able to read that and go, what does he do again?
I was born in 1987. I can barely read cursive right side up. This shit is not happening. Like,
but do you understand what I'm saying? It's like cool to have in a binder, terrible to have. Oh wait, no, there's the haste, because you're like, oh, he's got haste. Where does it say he's got haste? And then you got to scan the whole card and you point to, oh, it's down here. Okay. Oh, he's got eminence. That's down. Bottom,
for sure, Pepe. Oh. It looks like a proxy. This looks like a really good proxy.
But that's good. To me, that's good, because most of the time I enjoy proxies because they're unique and they're different and they're eye catching. I don't necessarily think I don't love this, but I don't hate it.
I agree with you. I don't love nor hate it, but it's not fun when you have to face this on the other side of the table.
I don't need to see the card for myself to know what it does. I asked my opponent, "Was that
good for you?" But there's a billion players out there that do. Bro, reading the card says what the card do.
Like, hey man, can you pass me that card? Because you can tell me what the card does, and then the second you're done talking, I have no idea what the card does.
Yeah, and how much are people going to want to pass their serialized, foily, full art, $1,500 card across the table for somebody else to put their grubby Cheetos eating mitts on?
That's a whole other aspect. I wonder if all of these will be serialized in this like specialty version, this ultra poster version. Or
I mean, look, they're hitting like, remember I was talking about before. First it was foils. This is foil, check. Oh, then it was full art. Oh, there we go. It has to be ultra rare. Oh, it's ultra rare. Oh, it's serialized. Like we like that poster art style. That does well. Well, do that too. Check. It's like they're combining all the things It looks like they're running out of gas for gimmicks, is what it looks like to me. And you look at this. If you'd have shown this card and had that idea, the concept in 2018, you'd have blown the community's mind. Now we look at it and we're immune to it. We're like, eh.
So it's funny you say that, because I watch philosophy videos and all that kind of stuff and technology things, and someone was talking about if you took a smartphone like what you got in your pocket and you went back 20 years, it would change the world, revolutionize technological progress. If you took this card back 20 years, I think people at Wizards of the Coast would say, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't think this is a very new change, and it has been progressing very quickly. I'll give you that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, like, how many more times are they going to hit the serialized button, the full art button, the poster art button? It's
it's Sylvester Stallone face.
I mean, but they've also been innovating every time as well. The frame breaks, the Japan special versions, the fractured foils. They have so many different versions. It's not like they're just doing the same thing over and over again. They're making like the showcase versions. Like the Foundations cards are the best they've done in. I mean, I might be biased because I like the anime art, but I like a ton of these cards from Foundation. They look great. The full art, fractured foils. I don't know. They're very eye catching. They're very
they
appealing.
keep doing it set after set after set, and they all.
What do you
like
expect them to do? Do nothing? Like they have to do something special every set.
No, that's the problem. Is that they've relied on gimmicks. They didn't do it for 30 years. And it was surviving just fine. But now you've built an audience of dopamine hitters that won't buy the product unless it does do this now. And now you got a game that's almost unrecognizable. If you put a bunch of different versions of Magic cards out on the table, it wouldn't even look like it's the same game. It would look like you put random cards together from random TCGs.
Yeah, but I do not disagree. Opinion aside, cannot disagree with that as an objective view. I also believe that the genie's out of the bottle at this point.
Oh, I agree. And I've said that it's not a good thing.
Yeah, I do not see any going back at this point from things like we're seeing here. This Edgar Markov's never been truly reprinted, no notable way. And this is a huge moment. I know people personally, other content creators, that have a sealed Edgar Markov deck, and they hold it high on their shelf and they go, this was something special. And this is going to crush some people. And it's going to be very available. I mean,
yes,
there's 4 different versions of this card. And we've got a pretty in-tune audience, right? We got a smart community. We've got 7 votes already. And 85% of people believe that it will be $30 or less. I agree. I think that the price of the card as it is now will be less than half of that.
You say that it's been working for 30 years, but I want to show a chart, and we'll see what you think about the chart.
Yes, I know that they've squeezed the juice as hard as they can, and you have a giant spike. It's not sustainable.
So if you
That's
look at
exactly
that
the chart I'm talking about, and if you extrapolate that back, it had slow, steady growth. As in the stock market, when you see things like this, it's a warning sign. And I could show you that exact same chart for Shiba Inu coin. You can't sustain it.
Yeah,
it's a bubble.
I look at this chart and I don't think of it like a stock market. This looks like they found something. And they're utilizing that to grow. Now, granted, it's definitely they're very large jumps, but I don't know. I look at this being good.
I don't think it's bad and unhealthy.
I'm kind of with Bob on this. Like, it looks great from an investment standpoint at pretty base level. At face value, this looks great. What is too reminiscent of this as a chart are the next 3 years where it goes down, 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 down. Like I think there will be a very large downturn. This growth was unnatural.
Even if they lose anything, well, sure, it's not natural. But pandemic had a huge play in this. Most people didn't have they were using spell table and things like that in order to play Magic, and that means they would need the physical cards, and then plus they were just finding something to do, so they found Magic and they learned stuff like that. There's a boon from a lot of the pandemic growth for everything got a boon, as well as inflation, but I don't know. I look at this and I see that Magic's doing well. The better the company does, the better the game will be. That's how I see it. When you see big growth, it allows them to do things with Marvel. It allows them to do, your secret layers that are
Even
awesome.
WoW had a very similar chart, and then it went crash.
I don't think it'll keep growing like that. Obviously, like you said,
It's not that it just doesn't keep growing; it falls off a cliff.
Yeah, I think we're going to be back down to that like 2019 numbers in the next 3 years.
Well, it'll
No
grow.
way.
Like what he's
Not
not
even
showing
close.
here is the 30,
previous
the
years,
20 plus years prior to 2016, or the 20ish years prior to 2016 had very similar steady growth.
I wanted
And then
to
all
see
of a
a chart
sudden,
that
it
had
didn't.
more, but I didn't find one.
Okay, I'm telling you, they said it was like 3 to 5% a year,
right?
all the way
right.
from like 1995 up.
See, to me, that's bad.
No,
means the game's
that's a
not growing.
very good, solid thing.
Yeah.
It means the
It's
game's not growing fast
sustainable.
enough.
Okay, if you're a Timmy that wants it right now,
You got to get it in
Veronica
everybody's hands.
Salt. And the problem is when you have that disruption like that. If you watch a movie called Blade Runner, there's a very good moral of the story. It's
I think I've
about
seen it.
androids, right? It's back from the 80s with Harrison Ford. And the idea is that they built these android cybernetic human beings, whatever you want to call them, engineered human beings, really. And they made them bigger, faster, stronger. And they were able to do amazing things that human beings can't do, right? So they genetically modified these, whatever they are. And they sort of get out of control. And they age really, really fast. They only live to be about 8 years old. But they're superhuman in strength. They're super smart. They're super quick. They're baller at everything they do. And there's a group of them that wants to go see the Maker, basically going to visit God. Because they say, we're this amazing being, but we live for such a short period of time. 8 years rather than the 70, 80, 90 years. And so when they finally go to meet him and they meet him and question him after killing all his guards to get to him, and he questions him, basically questioning God, why did you make us this flawed to only live this long? And his line, and it's a very good line, he says, the candle that burns twice as bright only burns half as long, and you've burned oh so very bright. And it's the same thing that you're seeing with this. There's a product, and it was burning for a long, steady time to keep the game healthy for a long time into the future. But then they wanted to squeeze it. They wanted to burn that candle at both ends and in the middle. Turn the heat up. There's only so much in the candle. And so squeezing it out in the middle like this, well, you shorten the lifespan. Just like most things that you try to over-rev your engine. Like just, if you think about the principle of entropy, and basically you're heading faster and faster to disorder by wheezing the juice faster now. That's the basic idea. Same thing with your engine. The engine life cuts way down if you constantly run it at top speed. And that's the same thing with most things. And it's the same problem you have with trying to get all of your... They cashed in on a core fundamental. We could go into the mechanics of it. But they've cashed in on reprint equity in a very short period of time rather than stringing it along. They cashed in on the hype of really true chase items in a natural growth cycle to try to attract the Timmies and whatnot. And they've pushed out the long timers that have been buying it drip by drip over 30 years. And so now you have to keep doing these power creeps and you have to keep doing these reprints or you lose the audience that you've decided to sink your teeth into, which are the gambling addicts and the Timmy flippers. And if you run out of juice with those guys, they're gone in a second.
Speaking of the gambling addicts and Timmy flippers, thank you again, everybody, for joining us this evening. You're a wonderful. I mean, you can't softball that shit in, Bob. I mean,
sorry. I mean, I'm just calling it like I see it. We'll see. Time will prove.
So Pat, you're saying that I should open.
Right.
You're saying that I should open this special edition collector's $1,400 collector box. I'll surely get.
But
surely
for every one
$1,400
$1,400 collector box, I'll show you a dozen that didn't do so well.
Nah, man, I'm saying you should sell that shit.
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, but then
Yeah, but it's
again,
going to be
like,
2,000 in the next month or two. Surely,
you're
surely
right.
it just keeps going
If
up,
we
right?
go off of this
Sure.
same
Yeah, you
growth,
know what? That is the financial advice that real financiers really give is try to time the market. That's way better than time in the market is timing it to buy it when it's lowest and sell it when it's highest. You know, that's why they do it for Homer Simpson. Buy low, sell high. That's my motto. Sure.
Hell yeah.
Good luck with that.
Oh yeah, how are Fallout
no.
doing?
I mean, again, and I think it's always been one of the interesting things
650?
about having 3 people on the channel here is how varied our opinions are on different subjects. You know, whether it's opening products, selling products, what to buy, what to skip over, and what we think is good or bad in so many of those different things. And I think this is one of those few moments where we all agree: sell that fucking box.
Should I sell the 2 Fallout boxes that I have for 650? You think they'll go higher?
Honestly, like
I paid
that
like less
has a
than I
little
paid
bit
300
better
or
of a
less than 300.
standpoint to keep.
I feel like both of them have the opportunity to continue to go higher. There's no reason. As supply goes down, demand goes up. That's just how it is.
Not always.
It's not about
Look at Commander Legends collector boxes. They were up around $800, and those are very short printed. Don't say it's about short printing, because those are one of the most short printed collector boxes out there.
I will certainly
that was said
that
before they even released it, because it got stuck in the pandemic cycle where they couldn't get to the printers, so they printed a very small amount of those.
You do get the multiplier factor, you know,
we're
or
at
a
470
little bit
right
higher
now
because of the IPs. You know, Lord of the Rings and Fallout, both of those are going to be particularly difficult to reprint. I think that you've probably got a year of breathing time before Fallout Season 2 comes around again, which is almost certainly going to be another tie-in product line. It was such a fucking home run. They'd be stupid not to.
They didn't do it with Arcane.
Well, that's what I mean. Don't get me wrong. They're stupid sometimes. They make these mistakes. As far as Lord of the Rings go, 1,500 is that's more than 2 months rent for me.
I'll say my mortgage payment's only $590.
Yeah, like that is, you will clear.
But don't come to Ohio. The housing prices are way too high.
Yeah, Ohio sucks.
Terrible place.
One of the things, though, again, you got to be very aware, as we talk about a lot, sellers fees. 13% if you put that on TCG Player, plus you got to get your fancy insurance, so you're up to $50 right there. You're losing $200 right off the top just to sell it on TCG Player.
Don't forget the taxes.
Right, yeah. Plus, you know, we're still in
shipping
this fiscal year. Oh yeah, shipping's $50 minimum.
I haven't recorded or talked about any of my sales on TCG Player to the government. I'm not gonna pay taxes on that shit.
No,
you may not have a choice.
No,
I've never had to pay taxes yet, and I've
not yet because they have a pause button on it. But now that election's over, I'll be surprised if they don't go, hey, guess what? That thing that we put a pin in, because they've already basically drafted the law, and if I remember right, it's already passed one of the houses,
so Ed,
and they're just put a pin in it.
Dual Brain MTG, thank you. We love the content creation you do. If you haven't seen his videos, you're a fool. Check out the fellow over on the YouTubes. Says he's got a video coming out that speculates that Lord of the Rings Special Edition can indeed go very high. ... Ooh.
It's already high. What are you talking about, dude? It's almost $1,500.
Yeah, I mean,
it's about as high as I thought it could ever go, to be completely honest. But
I don't know if we can get much higher here.
The thing that I agree with that it could go higher is because if you look at TCG market, there's literally less than 20. There's what is there total 15? Yeah,
and the chances of you hitting one of those big money cards in a single box,
it's not about that. There's never been about that.
This is definitely not an opener's product. Matt, I assume that is not something you're really thinking about.
I opened one already. It sucks. It wasn't good. I got less than $300 worth of shit.
Yeah, and eventually that will come back around for that product.
Yeah, when I opened mine, when I first bought them for $280.
If you don't think so, as soon as it's
DJ, take it to GameStop. They'll give you 20 cash or 50 trade-in.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a very different take on product, as you saw when you guys came over. And I'm not playing that game. Right? I'm not playing the selling game. I don't care. Especially with the idea that most people are trying to turn it into a game piece army.
Well, here's the reason why I haven't sold the one that I have.
You want to make more money, right?
It's not even no. It has nothing to do with making more money. It's that I look at that and I look at even if I get top dollar, say I get $1,500, insane. That's a lot of money, right? It doesn't change anything for me. I don't have anything to do with that money. The only thing I could really do would be to reinvest.
That's a much deeper conversation that I've tried to have with you before. And at some point, it's not about the money. It becomes sort of.
But I don't want the product either. I'm not attached to it.
If it's not life-changing money, then there's not much incentive behind selling.
Like the guy last week was telling me about like, I'll pay you $500 to shave your beard. A lot of people would be like, "Where's the razor? Get that shit off," because like, who cares? But like again, $500 does, and I don't want to like, I'm not trying to gloat, but like, it doesn't change anything for me. Like it would do nothing. It literally would change nothing of my life.
Money. Sell the box. Come up here for a long weekend. We'll go up to a ski resort.
The thing is, he could do that now without having to sell.
Yeah, I could just do that now. Like I don't need to worry about that. I just paid $4,000 to get my portrait done. I'm still okay because I planned ahead. I made sure I had a good savings. Like that's just basic finances.
You guys are now you're starting to like make me twitch to start my damn finances channel because I think that needs to be.
You keep talking about it.
It falls into that.
I did think about that, DJ. I did think about buying dual land.
It's hard for people
I did think about original duels.
It's hard for people to try to get behind that without being in that financial position, right? That's like a concept that's difficult for a lot of people. Even and I know, Pat, that we haven't quite gotten there, and I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm going to share a little of our very private conversation. It was just me and Pat sitting on the couch talking, and I said,
"Oh, I thought this was the little spoon conversation." No, this is fine.
No, this was about how do you know? How do you know when you've taken that next step financially, that you're a little more financially secure? Yeah. And it was actually somebody else who taught this to me unexpectedly about a very simple question. It might even have been Joe Rogan that was asking the question, what amount of money would it take? And I think they asked a bunch of people, what amount of money would it take to change your life? What is life-changing money for you? And for me, that number would be very, very high. And
it's like $1 million for me, like at least like $1 million.
Right. Do you know what the average answer was though?
Which is crazy. 100,000, 10,000?
No, it was like 25,000.
Okay.
Would change their life.
Again, 25,000 means nothing to me.
What would you do differently with your life if you somebody walked up to your door and gave you 25,000?
Okay, actually, I'll change this. I'll make mine a more realistic answer. Life-changing money, I could say for sure, would be right around 50,000, and I only say that because that's how much I have left on my mortgage, and having an extra like $800 a month because I pay extra per month for my mortgage to try to pay it off faster. That is pretty life-changing. Having an extra $800 per month.
Okay, what would you do? Would you quit your job?
Well, no.
Okay, not changing your life in that way. Would you go on extra vacations?
Maybe. I would have. I would have.
Okay, so you don't even have a clear idea of what.
That's what I said. I said
your life.
A more realistic answer, like $1 million, would definitely. Would be closer. That would be definitely closer. Like I don't know if I would quit my job. I still don't think I would.
See, we're already into my finance channel. We're even getting audience participation. I agree with you, Dual Brain. 25K.
$2 million? Yeah, I would quit.
Okay, right. And for me, actually, the closer I'm getting to retirement because of what I have, the
for you, $1 million, you would probably quit right now.
I would probably be lower than that. I bet you because I'm so close at about $500,000.
Well, you're invested into it. Yeah, you've got the years.
But if I was your ages, and depending on what you have in your retirement funds, that number would have to go way up.
Way the fuck up.
Yeah, it would have to be like
$1 to $2 million. I would
2-3 million.
Anybody want to pay $1 to $2 million? I'll quit right now. I'll do it full time for you.
Right, but and what people are thinking with that 25K, in all honesty, they think their life's going to change when they pay off the credit card that they charged up.
Right.
That they're going to turn right around and charge back up again because that money didn't change their life.
Never should have gotten themselves into. They're going to finally pay off. I got this Highlander, and all I do is drive myself to work every day.
Yeah, and in my $1,800 or $1,900 a month apartment. Yeah. You know, it's so again, you know, there is life-changing money, but certainly not $250 to shave off my beard.
Yeah,
I do
but
it
if
because
I
I
could do
shave
that once a
regularly. But
month,
for Matt,
like,
no. So
I
you
told
know,
him 5,000. I would do it for 5K because that's not like it's not life changing, but that's a fairly large amount of money to do
sure.
for
But
something stupid.
and
Like,
rounding
sure, it'll
back
grow
to that
back.
point of selling
I'll shave my
that
head too.
magic box is that you look at it so much differently than, let's say, like an Anger Collections or somebody else that is just into the hype of turning and flipping it. It's cash in the
yeah,
hand, baby. Cash. When you say words like cash money, you
cash
know,
money, dollar bill, yo.
it's a whole different thing. But it could be dual brain, but the problem is they couldn't afford it in the first place. So even if they get the 50,000 down payment, they're not going to be able to afford it moving
Yeah.
forward because houses
Yeah.
are kind of expensive to upkeep.
Because
Yeah,
the
houses
fucker who
have a
doesn't have the
larger
money to be
upkeep.
able to
Like
actually
paying
buy the house
$4,000
and
for a
be able
porch or $1,000
Yeah.
to fix your garage. Like,
exactly. You
it
get a
all
hole in
adds
your
up,
roof,
dude.
or your furnace starts to leak, and then you got to
Yeah, new
no.
furnace is 4,000 to 5,000. If
Yeah.
you want AC in the house, that's like around
But
8,000.
the problem is the way that
What up,
there we go.
Prime, it's been a
Talk
while.
about a life changer.
Yeah, it was
but-
good. It was good.
You know what I'm saying is it doesn't just change the way that you look at money. It changes the way you look at magic. Like, tell me if seriously, if we took people on tour around in my basement, how many in the magic audience do you think just wouldn't understand it and couldn't, like, why are you not selling? Why are you not cracking? Why are you just doing this? Right? They don't
100%
they can't get
honestly
it.
though, I think most people would just be shocked at the situation you're recording in right now. Like, I never like
True.
what I thought was like a
It
studio.
doesn't. You guys have no idea where he's sitting.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's different than you can't even
Yeah.
imagine what it is. It doesn't look like green screens are great. He could
Oh, dude,
he could be
it's-
streaming in his bathroom sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
You have no fucking clue.
Oh, dude, like this.
Oh
you
yeah,
can't
it's
see
not
that.
fancy. I've shown people, like the
You're
the
not
area
sitting at a
before.
window that overlooks the pond and the meadows behind you, but Pat.
Yeah, unfortunately,
That's not real?
No, it's
yes,
it's
exactly,
it's a
PJ. That's why my
spider
audio is
webby-
so good. I'm doing,
But you have to
bathroom
admit,
sessions.
my desk down here is just a mess with magic cards. Just like
yeah,
I can't even move
for sure.
around. It's like, oh crap. Like, my
No, I
organization's
think that
terrible. But it's a
your
different
dedication
vibe.
to collecting is something that would be difficult for most people in a hobby like ours. If you're into Funko Pops, cool, that's whatever. You can have a huge wall of Lego, but a product like Magic the Gathering sealed cards, this is you've done quite well in how reserved you've been in the way you open stuff. Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
Well,
I have all this
not really.
trash
You
behind
saw-
me.
You
I've
saw
been-
my open cards. You took a stab at. I don't know how many I have. I honestly don't. But what did you guesstimate the number at? I think it's about half what you said. But
I think 500,000.
okay, that's probably close.
Yeah,
That's probably
500K.
right.
In sealed
Yeah,
product?
I bet you there's a delta of 10%. What's that?
In sealed product? No way. No.
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 Number of singles I have opened.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
just straight amount of
You
cards.
didn't even see it, Matt. You didn't even go up in the loft.
Yeah,
where-
his
boxes
and
boxes
upstairs yeah, no,
binders.
easily.
But what's crazy and what
Hundreds of
people don't understand is if they walked in and saw that, right? If they saw the sealed part, if they saw the open part, if they saw my desk and the decks and all that shit, and for certain, 100%, that if Magic goes to zero, it almost means nothing to me.
Yeah, you still got your collection, and it does the same thing for you.
Right. It does the exact same thing that it does right now.
Mm-mm.
And Pat just couldn't wrap his head around my organization. I even have like my basic lands organized.
Bro, I
500,000 cards.
I legitimately
He's like his mind. He's like he was short circuiting
right now,
looking
like
at it,
I'm having
why?
flashbacks. It's like PTSD almost. It's like, what do you mean you sort it by like? I cannot fathom that it was like 3 tiers of sorting, whereas mine's like cards I'm gonna sell, cards I'm gonna throw in the fucking garbage, and then cards I might keep. It's like that's 3 piles.
Oh no, I spend a ridiculous. It is truly a hobby for me, and it's not just clearly it's not just about collecting.
I don't know how
it's a
well this is
pastime.
going to show. I haven't finished doing it yet because I started doing it and then I stopped. The typical ADD
ADHD
thing that I
brain.
have going on.
Yeah.
How well is this? Okay.
Aha, tricked you.
Yeah, I see it.
That's about as good as I can probably get it. So this is Echo MTG. It has a sealed inventory tracker. Can I like maybe zoom? Okay, that kind of works. So it's saying like overall I'm at 20%. What it does though is it's strange because like if I refresh this page, it's not going to be accurate to. Okay, now it is good. So you can change how you whatever you paid for the product. I haven't because I didn't know you could do this when I first entered it in. Like this is kind of interesting to see sealed product over time. You can ignore this Lord of the Rings. It's accurate, but it's not. It's an outlier. This is it's weird. I wish I had more. Unfortunately, have I lost on anything? One singular product has went down. That's crazy to me. Commander 19.
I mean, sealed magic does well. It's just
it's almost guaranteed money. It's crazy.
It's not though.
Fathom that like Lord of the Rings Special Edition will keep going up from this price, and I think it's just because I've already got the sticker shock because I'm price acclimated to things being so much cheaper, even on the high end. Our old measuring bar was Commander Legends Collector, which was multiple hundreds of dollars. I think it was $500, $600, almost $700 at one point on the really high end.
$470,
and this is double that, which is just shocking to me. So it's hard for me to think that a modern era Magic the Gathering sealed product will keep going up, but it makes sense to think that. And I'm glad that me personally, I don't have one of those sitting on my shelf, so I don't have to worry about that decision. I would just make some mistake with it.
Here's the thing, is that those aren't real prices. Did you include the shipping and taxes for everything there?
But the problem is this pays for all of that. All of the taxes, all the shipping prices.
If you go up, actually, we calculated it out on the show, and that you have to have at least 50% profit to break even.
No.
Yes, after seller's fees, taxes, shipping.
If you go the stupid route, that's the Timmy route. The Timmy route is paying all the fees. You don't pay the fees. You list locally. You sell locally.
You're not realistically going to sell all that locally. And not only that, most people won't pay full retail on a thing. It's just like Rudy or Anger Collections. They'll pay 60% of 60
TCG
cents
on the
low.
dollar. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to go to a Taco Bell and meet up with some other neckbeards, but I agree with Bob that they are not going to be paying street price.
Even if I just look at the overall, like this overall gained here, 25%, so $2,600 in if I were to like sell everything, even if I sell it 80%, I'm still gaining 5%. Now that's not great, but
I think you're dreaming to get 80%.
I think you can bulk
you
sell
get
for
50
90
to 60%.
Well, if you just Timmy sell quickly, sure. I don't know. I've been able to get more than that off of Marketplace.
And if you didn't have the one outlier of the Lord of the Rings, that would look very, very different. First of all,
yeah, we can change that if I just change this to 1458 and then I refresh.
Boom, crash down. Halved.
So now we're looking at 13%.
Yeah.
It's definitely an outlier. But these are still decent.
And if you got the same 80%, now you're only losing 7% on everything. But you're losing more than that because even just sitting in cash, you'd be getting about 4.5% in the bank. If you had it invested,
especially with
the investments have gone through the roof.
Yeah.
You'd be looking at average 8% over the last 100 years in the stock market. So it's 8% cost, and you don't have all the selling fees to gain in the stock market, which is virtually guaranteed. So instead of being minus 7%, you'd be up positive 8%. So that's
this right here is a break even. If you're selling on a TCG player, this is a break even.
Additionally, in order to do what you're talking about, you haven't calculated your time is worthless, is what you're saying. And time is money.
Time is money, though.
Time is money. That is correct.
Time is money, friends.
But also time is made up. And
can we get a strike for that?
Money is kind of made up, too.
Or was I not close enough?
I don't think a game saying. I don't think a line from a game is copyrightable.
Can anybody in the audience name where that comes from? Not you, Matt.
I was gonna say I can.
See if Sherry Vegas is still listening. She knows what that is.
She's got
She
the.
might just be getting Chipotle.
Nah, she's got the.
I don't like Chipotle.
What's it called? She's got the Final Fantasy brain rot.
Nah, she would know, but she might not be listening anymore.
Oh, dude. So I learned about the whole history of this skibbity toilet shit.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It is the dumbest thing, and it is the epitome of brain rot. I feel dumber for having learned about skibbity toilet. If you can, just like hit anybody who says that to you in real life.
Listen to the. I only say it as a joke. I don't actually like.
I don't even know what it is. I don't want to know what it is.
I don't know where it came from either. I know I know it from somebody that
like
watches a lot of TikTok, so I assume it's from TikTok.
Nah, I believe
I
it's
watch
actually a
very
YouTuber
little to no
also.
TikTok. I hate it. It's annoying. But
So for Sherry, it was time is money, friend. Where does that come from? I also need to know if Amy's watching. If she is, give me a thumbs up. If she's not, I want to share something that I thought was kind of cool because we are wrapping up rather quickly here, folks. Ooh. You got 10 minutes if you are not currently a member, right? Remember, I keep confusing member and subscriber.
Channel
member.
Very good.
She's so enamored with what you said. She doesn't know where it came from, but she's just like, wow, holy crap.
But maybe I'll just share it in the post show. Then I don't have to worry about my daughter seeing it. So for those members, they'll get to see a early Christmas gift for my daughter. Try to do something creative with magic. So for those of you that are members, I'll share it with you. It's something I worked pretty hard on and spent entirely too much money. Next year, she gets money.
And also, I'm going to talk to these guys about a TV I'm going to buy. Be excited.
I got a check from my insurance company because I was a good boy. $32. Woo!
Nice.
Okay, yeah.
You know who else was a good boy? Chris Cox, announcing what people have been waiting for.
True.
With Arena. Matt,
sort of.
Take it away.
So Chris Cox has this. He was doing some kind of like interview with some. Who cares? And they were basically talking about what their plans for digital and talking about how they want to make like digital versions of stuff collectible. So the specific quote was, Magic Arena does not harness two great potentials of the TCG, Commander and collectability. And the company is currently testing a video game version of Commander separate from Arena, which would allow more than two players to compete. In addition to looking for ways to make digital versions of cards more collectible, similar to Marvel Snap. I've never played Marvel Snap. Oh, actually, that's not true. I played it for about 5 minutes. It was pretty bad. But I guess Marvel Snap's good. People like it.
Bro, people seem to love it.
It seems like tic-tac-toe. It feels stupid to me. I don't like it. It just feels very. It's just if you boil the game down to its fundamental, it's just tic-tac-toe, guys. If you're playing Marvel Snap and then you start really looking at it, it's just tic-tac-toe. You guys take turns placing in different lanes and then you compete who got three in a row. It's stupid. Anyways, a version of not Arena, but a version of a program like Arena, where you can go to play Commander. Hopefully one that works.
Well, I mean, I
say that because Moto is like it works, but it's like laggy as fuck. I think it's the only reason I don't play it, and you have to own the cards. I don't want that. But if it's an Arena version, so here's another problem. If it's not Arena, this, as I just was talking about it, kind of makes me think it's more of a way to kind of wrench more money out of people, because then you have to, if it's not Arena, you have to get all of the cards again.
Yeah, you got to buy all that shit again.
So that's kind of shit.
Smart, fucking brilliant.
It makes sense because
let's get the money twice.
How do we give the players what they want? But also
you said that it doesn't compete with the paper Magic. Matt, you said that playing online games and paying for it doesn't compete with paper Magic.
It's a bit different when you're holding out. No, hold on. When you're holding out on something that like everybody wants, they all want this, but it hasn't been there for so long. the moment it comes out, people aren't going to wait. They're going to want to get their decks made right away. So unlike Arena, where you can like over the course of time build decks and over the course of time build up a pool of cards, this is going to be a bunch of people that are like, I've been wanting to play Commander with my bros. I want to build my deck, and I'm gonna do whatever it takes to build that deck. So they're gonna buy a bunch of shit up front. They're not gonna wait. They're not gonna do their dailies every day.
And that doesn't take it away at all
Yeah.
from their budget that they would be buying their $150 play boosters with.
Well, it depends.
$300
You can't
collector
proxy. Like for people like me, if I want to go play, I'm gonna have to spend money. If I want, I don't think I will, but
On,
if I want to play Commander
on the digital client, but
on
you
the
won't.
digital client.
Yeah, but you're not going to
So
be
my
spending
budget
on the
for-
digital client and the paper cards. Is my
Well,
point.
yeah, because my budget for Commander decks in real life are like less than a couple dollars because I just print them. Like that's the thing. That's what I'm
that's
saying.
healthy for
Like,
the long term.
Or he
health of the
shops at
game.
Costco and gets them 33% off their lowest map. You know.
Yeah, you could. I don't pay for a Costco membership because when I had a buddy that had one, and I'll pay half if you let me add. You can like add people on there. So I did that for about a year, and I was like, everything at Costco is just bigger versions of the same stuff you could buy at Walmart, and they're the same price when you break it down. It's literally like if you want to buy, you could buy like one thing of peanut butter for $5, or if you go to Costco, you can buy two things of peanut butter wrapped together, and it's double the price. It's like, it's the same fucking. Just buy two things from Walmart. You don't need the thing that's wrapped together. You just buy the two things.
Yeah,
I found no value in the membership.
Line. Yeah,
There might
It
be
used to
things
be
that are
cheaper.
valuable, but
It used to be
Oh,
cheaper,
did it?
but yeah.
It
used to be
literally it's the exact
okay,
same price. It's not
so
even
instead of buying a $5 jar of peanut butter, you can get these two wrapped together, and it's $7.
Yeah, that's not how it works now.
No,
not so much.
again, it's like the world.
It's literally the same price. Like, it's not. I'm not exaggerating. Because I have one that's like there's like a Sam's Club and a Walmart right next to each other. I went into one and then I went into the other. I'm like, they're the exact same price. Like, why would I ever pay for this membership? So I stopped.
No, that's
Now
how
you can save money on gas. That is a thing. Like I do think if you shop there enough, you would pay for the membership. Kind of like Amazon.
But
Amazon's
if
a
you
similar
just do the
situation.
gas, I mean, are you really saving $80 in gas over the year?
As much as you and I drive, no. But as much as somebody that drives a lot, then yes. Because you're saving like
Maybe.
anywhere between 10 and 30 cents per gallon. It depends on how many gallons,
How many gallons would that be? Let's say at the
lot.
low, just because it's easy, at 10 cents a gallon to get up to $80 for the year. You'd have to buy 800
I
gallons.
guess
800 gallons.
a great
That's a
summarization
lot of gas.
tonight's episode.
That's not that
you know?
much. If
With all
there's
the
somebody that drives a
scams
lot,
and with the scams and fake deals out there, remember folks, if it's only 10, 20, 30 cents off of something you don't really want to buy, it might not be worth it. 'Tis the season to look over your finances. Don't put
That's a
yourself
sick
in a
amount of
hole
gas.
just
What are you
because-
talking about?
for
People
somebody that drives a lot,
people that drive a lot tend to get fuel economic vehicles, and so you're probably getting roughly, we'll just say 30 to 45 gallons a month. That's about a fill up every week and a half.
35 miles to the gallon. If you times that by 8,000 or 800 gallons, that's 28,000 miles. That is definitely a high traveling person, but
That's almost double the average.
that's at the low end, of course. But yeah, I do think that's like I said.
And then that's
not for
just
everybody.
That's just to break even. Right?
But like
That's
I said,
just to
there's
make
other
membership
things
break
potentially
even.
that have the value, like the March of the
5
Machine.
bunches of socks.
Anyways, I'm gonna rattle off some numbers here because I have them and we have 3 minutes left. So
Hit it.
I did some Matt finances. I was gonna make this like a small segment of the channel. Like each week we can look at like how stuff performed the last like few sets or whatever. So we already talked about the Lord of the Rings hitting an all-time high of 1450, highest sold for 1250, but there are only 18 boxes available as of this morning. You've got Mystery Boosters 2 holding fairly strong at $330, and the supply seems to be drying up. Looks like about 175 have been sold within the last month on TCG Player, and there's currently 97 on the market as of this morning. You've got Duskmorn, fairly low value for both very low volume for both collector and play boosters. Obviously, the set's a few months old at this point. But in the last few days, they seem to be holding strong at about collectors for 230, play boosters at about 130. And the play boosters have sold about 230 since this morning for the last 30 days. So that's okay. When you compare it to the releases, all the releases seem to average about for play boosters around 2,000 to 2,700 for the first 30 days. So when we look at foundations currently collector boosters, which I was very surprised about, 2.5 thousand sold collector boxes in the past 30 days, and they're leveling out at around $295. And then the play boosters have also a fairly, I don't say average, I say high in my notes, but at this point, if they're all selling for around 2,000 to 2,600 in the first 30 days, this is fairly average. So they sold at about 2.6 thousand sold play boosters in the last 30 days, and they've leveled out at a price around $130, which is surprising to me, and I think everybody's really surprised. Like we thought, I'll say me, I thought it would nosedive upon release, and it's not. So that's good. We'll see what happens.
Rocket.
I'm a 90-day guy. Tell me what it looks like at the 90-day mark. And for this one, being that it's a 5-year product, I'm really more curious the 365-day mark, because then you only have 4 more years to go.
Oh, they sold another 200 boxes over since I went to sleep and woke up.
Again, we're in the honeymoon phase.
I'm just saying that's good numbers. That we could just look at it the way it is. Like it'll be interesting to see what happens in 6 months to a year.
And hey, we'll have to catch up with it again next week. Unfortunately, just to remind, I'm not going to be here traveling for Thanksgiving. But I think that was a phenomenal episode. If people want more, they're going to have to be channel members. So, you can scoot over there. We put up a channel members only post for a link to that. And we'll see you in just a few minutes there. Any closing words? No.
Well, do we want to post the link here so that
God, we forget about it. Oh yeah, yeah. Closing words: like and subscribe.
Exactly.
Because we're so good at doing that early on, like you're supposed to in videos.
Well, I almost had it. I was looking for it.
No worries.
All right, folks, I'm out.
Hey, peace, y'all. Bye.
See the members in a minute.